Okay, on to the crank. Not playing around with oiling. Let's see, where did we leave off at? Okay, I had this all glued in there. Let's make sure there's no residue left in the burn area here. Okay, looks clean. Ready to go. Okay, this is the left side wheel. Let's see our Loctites here, red and green. Here's our left side wheel, main shaft, key. Where'd our key go to? Don't see it. Oh, there they are. Hidden off to the side. 1, 2 keys. And crank pin must have it already in it. Yep. Okay. Okay, we're going to put a little sleeve retainer on the taper. So the key just slips around there. Yep. Okay, just put a little bit on there like that. Doesn't take a lot to do what we need to do, just a little bit. Wipe off whatever's left over on the thread. Then we take red and put on the thread. Put a fairly liberal amount onto it. So we get our key. These keys are loose in here, so they're not tight. So you gotta make sure the key actually goes into the flywheel here. There we go. The shaft popped in there now. You want to make sure it's all the way in there, up inside there. So your key right down on that. There's our heavy-duty nut. It's not saying much. Pretty small nut. Be tight. Okay, so now I gotta go over the press and tighten that down. Torque wrench. Probably not a lot of torque on that. Let's see if we can pull about 125 out of this thing. Pretty small shaft size. It's probably only about I don't know if that's 3/4 inch thread. Probably more like 5/8 inch thread. Pretty small diameter, whatever it is. Alright. Goes like that. Let's see, 1 inch. 16. Okay, torque wrench, sockets. Yeah, I got the right one. Okay. Let's see how much torque we're going to get on this. That's about 125. That'd be the black line on there, torque wrench. That's what we're doing. That's about 150, that's pushing it. That's a lot of torque on that crappy little nut. So that nut ain't that crappy because a regular nut would probably strip at about 90. So even though it's a good nut, it's still limited amounts of torque. You just kind of feel it as you go. Just keep moving the wrench and it keeps torquing. The dial keeps going up. That's a good sign. That's why I like a dial wrench, not a clicker. Clicker, you have no idea what you're doing. A dial, you can watch the torque slowly increase or not increase. You keep moving the handle. As long as it's still going up, you're still torquing. Okay. Now make sure you wipe off any excess Loctite inside the bearing area in here. We just want any inside that cage area in there. Looks good. Okay, that's one down. And let this one do the same thing too. Get a clean rag and wipe off your tool parts. That's what shirts are for. Okay, wipe off excess. Do not put Loctite in the oil hole there. It's not a good plan. Key in there. Same thing, you gotta kind of wiggle it in there. So the flywheels are tired and the shafts are the key. If you can't wiggle the shaft no more, it's all in, that's good. You definitely want to make sure the key is below the surface of the flywheel. Otherwise, the bearing will be hitting on the key and not inside the fly where it belongs. Which means it won't work. Other little small nut. Okay, crank pin right here. So we're using Excel crank pin. Those are the best ones made ever. They're made out of bearing steel. Same stuff rollers are made out of. And they got good machining. And the threads are all ground and not cut. All that good stuff. It's just they don't make them anymore. Alright, so keyway goes over this way. Make sure it's in all the way. So it looks like it goes in that direction. Now this is going to torque down a little bit heavier. Shaft is below the nut, so it's still good. It's tight clearancing, so if it sticks above the nut, we're probably going to hit the case. So everything on this motor is very, very close. Clearancing, so a few thou one way or the other makes a big difference on this job. Regular bike, doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to torque the small nut first again. So same deal, we're going to use our torque wrench here. We're going to wash that dial again. Oh, dumbass, how am I supposed to do that? Somebody left the crank pin in the way. Let's go on the other side. And now we got access. Okay, what do we got here? There's 100 right there. There's 120. Yeah. About 150 again, stop. It's still rising, but at some point it goes into yield and it doesn't get any more torque. You don't want to torque into the yield point because that means you went too far. You've lost the strength of the hardware at that point. So just before yield is maximum. The only problem is you don't know where that is. You can just kind of feel it out. Now this one can torque pretty good. Okay, let's, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3 is way over there. There's 300. Double what the big one is. There's 300. I could probably pull 350 on it, but 3's enough. And right now it's flush with the nut, pretty much. So that's a good point. So that means we got the correct amount of torque. Scooby's back. Scooby's wandering around. What do you got over there? You got a bird over there? You got a rat up there? Is there a rat up there? Ooh, we got a big rat. Where's it at? Where's that rat? Get him! Is he up there? There's a rat up there somewhere. Look at that. Scooby's looking for it. Scooby knows there's a rat someplace. He'll find it one day. But not today. Because there's no rats here. Okay, so that's torqued in. Clean that out in there like we did the other one. Wipe off the pin one more time. Okay. Okay, the rods we already had all fitted already. They've already been cleaned several times. We'll just clean it one more time just to make sure. Can't clean them too many times. Okay, so we're going to use Sportster bearings in this motor. So we have lots of clean bearings right here. So some go to the crank pin and some go in the main. So real Harleys have real cages that hold the rollers. Maple Leaf motors have cages that don't hold rollers. And they have less rollers and thin ones. Now these are steel, so they won't wear out, whereas aluminum ones are lighter, but they wear out. So your choice on which ones you want to use. We went with steel because we like stuff that doesn't wear out. Okay, see how that roller sticks above the cage? That means this cage is not correct. Grab the fat cage. Ah, see, it fits. So that one goes there. Let's get in and pick all these rollers out down here, see? Lots and lots of rollers. So these big fat rollers are main bearings, and little skinny ones there are rod rollers. So you have to just put all these in here like this. What's nice about these is they don't roll up, they don't fall out, except if you flip it over. Don't flip them over. Okay, more short ones. This is left-hand main, so it takes 2 sets of these rollers. Tell them, Scooby. If the roller's going tight, they're no good. You gotta find out what's going on. Usually it means you got a bad cage, probably broken. Not good. Almost lost it. Alright, there's that one all set up. There you got a set of bearings now, see? Okay, now these short cages take long rollers. So you stick way up. Whoop. They stick up a long way. See the roller? But takes 2 cages. Boom. Now it goes together. And you got clearance in here. That means the roller is not locked up. That means you're good. Once again, if the rollers are locked up, then that's a bad sign. If a roller is tight, it doesn't roll, that means it doesn't work. It'll slide, wear itself out, turn to junk shortly. If you see anything wrong with the roller, any pitting, any marks that are heavy, any rust marks, acid etching, junk, throw away. They will deteriorate very quickly, like less than 1,000 miles. They'll be coming apart. It's like a pothole in a road. You give it a place to turn in junk, it'll turn into junk pretty quickly. Okay, got to move side to side now. Make your clearances. Make sure they all roll. Hear them rolling. Anything that's tight is no good. Okay, so now we're down to keys. These are the oil pump lock keys here. See, you got a little key that you can barely see, and you got 2 little retainer clips. That's for the oil pump. Don't lose those. Over there. Okay, now this should be all rollers that are left now. This is all for the rod. So those will be next. Alright, so I'm going to take our assembly O-lube here and put them on the crank pin. Don't put it on the taper because that's where the Loctite goes. Don't be afraid to put oil on here. It's actually good for it. You don't need to have it dripping off, but a good thick layer helps. Make sure you lube where the bearing goes over there, the rod. Okay, that one's lubed. Got extra lube. Yeah, I got rid of the extra lube. Okay. Male rod goes in the middle, females are on the outside, those are skinny ones. See, my surfaces are all pretty good because these are steel. Aluminum is always the bad side. Usually I put the bad side toward the flywheel. Okay, now the lube there will help hold the bearings in so they don't fall out. So there's all the bearings right there. Oops, except for that one on the floor. Make sure you clean the bearing off on your shirt. Make sure you have no Loctite on your finger either. Okay, now you gotta hold it vertical like this. When you hold it vertical, the bearings stay in there. You let gravity help you. Just poke them in there one at a time. These cages are like new, so the bearings are tight. Usually they're loose. See, well, once they're in there, they're free to float. It's just when you first put them in there, they're going tight. The short rollers just fall in. The long rollers, I'm having to push them in. So you got 2 rows of short rollers and 1 row of long rollers. Should be 17 rollers to a roll. The good bearings have 18 and the bad ones have 16. These are in between. The bad ones are Evo bearing cages. They have very few rollers in there for some reason. The old bikes have the most bearings and the longest bearings. They have the most bearing area. Harley got cheap later years. Determined they didn't need all those bearings in there. Costs money for 1 extra bearing. That's 3 per bike. That adds up. That's a free set of bearings every 17 bikes. You don't think those bean counters were figuring that out, do you? And you make every roller shorter. Once again, every now and then you get some extra rollers out of that. Same length of bar stock. Every 5 or 6 bearings, you get an extra bearing. More cost savings. Multiply that over thousands of bikes, it makes a difference. It also makes a difference in quality, but they don't care about that. As long as it gets through the warranty period, we don't care. Just like they do it now. Same way. New and improved. Cheap. Make it cheaper and faster to put together. We save money. We don't care about being good. It don't make no difference. Nobody cares about quality. That used to be called Walmart mentality. Now it's Amazon. Give everybody cheap crap that lasts for 2 days, they're happy. Sell them something that costs money and lives a lifetime, they don't want it. At least that's the theory. Must work. They make a lot of money. I'm working on a bike that's 70 years old now because it's made good. Says something. See a new car in 10 years, there's nothing left of all that plastic. All they do is fall apart. Oh well. Okay, lubricate all this stuff really good. This might be the only one it gets for a long time if your oil pump doesn't work right off the bat. This is all you're getting. And this part kind of needs oil. Alright, so I usually hone them with the numbers together. See numbers? No numbers. Numbers are right here, you can't see them. Okay, so make sure you put the rod correctly. This is the rear rod, this is the front rod. So if the bearings are in there correctly, this will just fall right down. Obviously it's not in there correctly. That one right there was high. Did you see it sticking up? There you go. Going down. Go. Put over here in the washer. Okay, put a little sleeve retainer on the taper. Keep it toward the outside of the taper, not the inside. To get to the inside, it gets in there with the rollers, and crank will be junk pretty quickly. Lock red on the threads again. That was sharp. Something up there was sharp. Okay. Before you bolt the crank together, make sure the rods are in the correct spot. So that means the pinion shaft there, rear rod's on top. So you look at it, rear rod, front rod. Okay, we use the table to help alignment here. That in there, rotate it slightly back and forth, that smears the Loctite. Turn it 90 degrees to where the rod is. push straight down, and you're using a workbench to help hold the flywheel straight as you tighten it, instead of having some tool. You just use the stuff that's in front of you. Give it a quick blast. And take your straight edge and put it across the top and see if it's still flat. Pretty good. Stayed flat. And if it's off quite a bit, pop it off and redo it. Saves a lot of effort on truing when you do it correctly. Okay, so now we go back over the press. Scooby's giving me a dirty look over there. Let me go over here and torque it. Look, it's almost 8. So, same deal, turn it 90 degrees almost. You let the press do the alignment for you and holding. I'm keeping the fat part of the rod on the table there. Okay, now you give it a little bit of a torque, not full torque. Do just a little bit. Release it. Do it again. If you just torque with pressure, the flywheels are going to want to go like this as you torque them, which makes them out of round. So if you stop every now and then and let it recenter, it should keep it truer, which is a plus. Okay, we're at 200 right there. There's 250. And there's a little over 320-ish. If you're going to make them tighter, make the left side tighter, because that's where it's going to want to twist. There's more pressure on this side. That's where your crank comes out at power. So the nut is, the crank pin is just past the outside of the nut, it feels like. So let's pull in a little bit deeper. Okay, you want to make sure the rods are free. They're not locked up, it's very important. Make sure you can slide them side to side. See, oil's keeping me from doing that very well, but especially with only one hand here. See how it moves. I like to have at least 18 to 20 thou clearance in there. You also want to make sure the center rod's got some clearance too, no binding. You also want to make sure you rotate it and make sure it doesn't bind in here. Sometimes things aren't made right and you hit, especially this part up in here, over here on the other side. See how it goes around right there. Sometimes they get up real close up in here, like twin cams have that problem when you run aftermarket rods. Okay, so this is ready for truing now, which is over there. So I gotta move all this crap out of the way so I get there. We'll be back.